I'm in the twilight of a mediocre career.
All right. The six
Original home of. Well, Sister A was a Sister A building and traded a couple barrels of oil. This was a service station. And they traded a few barrels of oil for the transfer because they were parking. And that's when the call was. Well, this is the original home of WSIX radio. AM went on the air in 1926, so it'll be 90 years old in 2016. The Drawn Brother Oil Company. The story is, and Jackie Guthrie can tell you for sure, but the brothers traded several barrels of oil for the first transmitter, and they used it to promote their car service business. And SIX, service is excellent, was their slogan, so WSIX, I'm told that's where the call letters came from.
Okay. And there's one of the Drawn brothers now.
Right there on the roof, yeah. Shall we go in?
Sure.
That's the evil Drawn brother, the sniper.
He's changing the lights on the tower.
So she was the person that did
You want to
that.
get this one?
Oh, okay.
Hitler's speech on WSM today.
Oh, cool. Not just the general
I think
manager.
they've got it here
Through
because
your
of WSX to go out
Yeah.
of it, but check out the
Microphone
Hitler
we clip
speech on WSM today.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We had an Obama speech last night.
Wow, the Nashville Times.
The Nashville Times.
Sure. On WSN.
Assembly radio page. And then here's the big spread.
Can't get that.
America's number one commentator was that it's 194 feet. This is apparently on the one that was on the roof because it says at the corner of 3rd and Boscobel Street. Oh, this is Nashville. Yeah, that's the Nashville Tower. Yeah. Check that out. Iceland, Poland, it's all simple. I guess this cartoon was in, I don't know what paper, but.
Well, this, when they were on the 14th floor of the Nashville Trust Building, this was a conference room there, and this was the studio, and that was the announcer's booth back in there.
Two little grand pianos. Huh? Yeah.
And where was this here in town?
Nashville Trust Building on Union Street in Nashville,
In
Tennessee.
Nashville.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 39.
So that's after they'd already moved by then. Okay.
Oh, they moved. Yes. They moved in '35, I think.
Okay.
Or clipping up there says they moved in May of 1935.
Well, what other significance do we have here?
Well, all of these were in my mother's basements. So this is, what's this? Here's WSIX right here, and WLAC mentioned. WSIX mentioned here. Dinah Shore before she had cosmetic surgery.
What do we have do we have a year on this? Is this
1939.
Oh, this is all from the same newspaper.
If you see the top thing there says they're going to become the Mutual, and then this is the joints today. So I guess that was before this one, probably.
Okay. So, yeah. September 24th, 1939.
WSIX to air World Series games. How long did they use the service is excellent?
They started that out when they got the radio station, and it was W6, and this is 638 building. The telephone number was 638. So, and they sold radios in this part right here when
I bet
originally.
Bang up business too.
So,
yeah. Every town suddenly had a radio dealer. Of Franklin, Kentucky, I knew the guy who had that one, Willis Bradley, and his father. And they sold pianos and radios.
So the story about the 5 barrels of oil that was that what they bought the transmitter with?
So what business do you conduct here today?
we just have some real estate that we manage, farmlands that you'll see that comes out of this office. So, and I wondered if heard the door open up. So I don't know whether.
WSM and WLAC.
This is my son Edison finding.
His NAB convention.
Oh, wow. Where is
Hey,
it?
man. How's the farm?
I said,
Gary Beatty.
Edison Guthrie.
Hey, Edison. Nice to meet
"Oh, excuse
Jackie,
me."
I'm sorry, ran right into you.
Well, I started to.
Billy Graham. There's another one.
1939.
Always good, clear, distinct voices.
Here's 49 in Chicago.
These folks.
There's Billy Graham.
Yeah, here's another one of Billy here in his shirt sleeves.
And he has blood.
Who that
Joyce,
is?
gosh,
On your mom. We just thought we'd shoot some video.
Joyce Paul, and I don't know what happened to her.
The stories.
And I went over. Pat Boone was over in Nashville not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I brought some of these pictures
He's got some
over there,
family
and
over there.
he. And
Did he see them?
yes, and I went up there, Edison, and I went over there, and so, and one of the guys said, "Oh, that's Joyce Paul." I think I know he was up there at the radio station.
That's
I think
Joyce
at 14.
Paul?
Do you know anything about her? What happened to her?
I dated her daughter.
Whoa.
Well, is she still living? Is she still around?
No. Well, no, I don't know about Joyce. I know her daughter ended up getting killed in a car wreck.
That letter. That's your
But
Joyce Paul was a singer, right?
yeah.
Yes, they sang on. They had a program together. Youth on Parade was the name of the
son.
that they had.
Television for years and years until his death.
Yeah.
Anyway, received a 638, 1,000 something transformer, etc. And I never knew that
This is
George,
very
but I knew the son. Small world.
And Rex Humbard is up there.
Yeah.
Where was the actual studio at, the control room?
No, although
Here or in Nashville?
Here.
When they were here.
We'll go up there. We'll see.
Okay.
They did that upstairs, I guess, in the business.
Here,
the
right here,
service
because
station.
I blew pictures up upstairs. So I've got these pictures upstairs where I blew it up.
Who's that in that picture?
With the microphone.
Yeah.
Forest Dirt
Oh, is it? Okay.
that had Birmingham,
Country Music Hall of Fame.
Nashville, Birmingham,
Likes to be really.
transfer trucks. And that's on Bosqueville Avenue. Yeah. He's dead, but
Reflective.
his daughter and his son are still living in, I guess, Nashville.
Right here.
Yes. He was a teenager. They just pulled him off the street to announce something.
Forest too?
Forest
Dirt.
Forest Dirt.
No, I've not.
Well, let's go in here, and you can see a little bit in here too.
Wow. With that there.
This is
30 calves.
beautiful museum.
Thank you.
It really is.
Thank you.
And the history of this, is this the original like building?
My granddad built that, and that was on the main road, which
that-
is
is
not
that the front
anymore.
out here?
I don't.
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
no. That's on
That's a
Bats
different
Boulevard,
one.
and yes, but that.
Oh, this is the building now that it's been
Yes,
built on.
yes,
Right.
and I blew that up over there too, so
Right.
you can see some of that. But anyway, I sold that building.
Good heavens, what are they doing here?
Recapping tires.
Is that what they do? Wow.
Yes.
I'm surprised they even did that. in those-
Well, now, see, they
That would
did-
have had to be in the 20s, right?
Yes, and that's probably before the radio station because there were stairs
Yeah.
put up there when they had the radio station. So, yes.
Well, their swimsuits were shorter then than now.
Harry Stone is one of the guys over there, and my dad and my uncle on that fishing boat. But Harry Stone was with WSM. I think he was general
I remember
manager.
that name, yeah.
And then there's a lot more over there on that wall where it's radio things.
Uncle Remus. I used to have Uncle Remus books.
They're priceless now, I bet. Because they don't think they do that anymore.
No,
Goober.
it's pretty racist now.
Goober and his Kentuckians.
Yes, that was on. That was on. Okay, let me point over here to you. Get right.
That was tourist camp.
Tourist.
Yeah, that was the main going through there. Nice.
Oh, I remember service stations like that.
Yeah.
It actually
This
came
must have
out
been the control room.
No, it's upstairs.
No, everything is upstairs.
Oh, okay.
On here is a picture. This is a picture. I guess that's the WLAC table radio station. This is the WSIX table there, because that
Is that the Hermitage?
that's my dad and that's my mom,
Oh, okay.
Could be.
and then that's Tom Baker and his wife,
Could be.
and oh gosh, I didn't know. I'll tell you in a minute. It's FC Sal.
Oh,
That's
sure.
him and his wife. And then this is WSIX people here, and then I don't know what that table is, but that's my dad. And that's Don McNeil of the Breakfast Club, yes. That's another picture of my uncle with Don McNeil. And Carney Mack over there.
A signed picture from Connie Mack. Wow.
Really?
Yeah. To my friend Jack M. Braun, Connie Mack.
That's incredible.
Yeah, let me let
amazing.
you all get over here, walk over there.
Except from the Connie Mack Brown house. No, not that one.
You boys. I wish you had done
Batter up.
Does that radio thing. Did you get Goober and his Kentuckians?
Yeah, I gotta have get a better shot. I gotta
Hush Puppy's dog food.
And I think that's a celebration when my uncle was 65. They had and painted on the back,
Oh,
kind of,
okay.
you
Oh,
can
great.
see, and they had a bullet thing of 638 on the windows, both way, and I did some of that too. So
And so, is this before the radio station or after they moved the radio station? Because there doesn't seem to be any
antennas or anything.
anything. Just barely looks like it has a second floor.
That's probably before they built the radio station for the upstairs.
Yeah,
Upstairs for the radio
did they?
station, you know. Because see, they were just selling gas and oil here, and that's why they started the other was to advertise. They didn't plan on it going.
Being like
It kind of turned out to be something, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
What was the occasion of Mr. Draw meeting Connie Mack? How did that come about? You know?
You know, I don't know. That just I just had
mean,
that
that's really
frame
cool.
thing right.
Yeah.
I'm sure they carried the games on
On the station.
the station, and for some
I think
reason,
maybe
so.
Could have been Cincinnati.
Promotional tour or
Could have been
something like
Cincinnati Reds.
that. Could have been,
Yeah, could have been.
Red Hat gasoline. The Darrell
This is great.
See the big tobacco leaf over here on this
Yeah.
wall?
Yes.
Is that what the original farm was?
Oh, that was back in the 80s or something like that, but it's kind of pulled away, so it's brittle. But
Well, they do drive, don't they?
yes, I do.
Eddie Arnold,
See the schedule.
right there.
Yeah.
Their programs.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, I guess this is World Series, so there's not a date.
But it had to be September then, probably, right?
September, October.
Well, this was
This is
September,
it.
this says next month, and here's.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe
That's
that was
probably August.
That's what we're guessing.
Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy on vacation.
Yeah.
Of course, he had to take Charlie.
Excuse
Then
me.
Charlie just.
Miss Jackie, where is is this the Springfield Tower?
No, that's Nashville.
Oh, okay.
And we'll go on upstairs if you want to,
Okay.
to see some of these. This is all Nashville. Bostonville, I think.
Boscoville.
That looks like the transmitter shack.
I never heard of her.
So,
That's probably this antenna.
That probably is.
Is this transmitter, is that picture what was here, or is that?
yes.
That's upstairs? Do you know if it shows the original, is that the original transmitter, or?
Yeah, Fanny Rose.
Everything up there that we're going to see, because there was a guy that came by here and he had these pictures and he let me copy them, and then upstairs I blew them up. But
I just wonder if that's the 5-barrel of oil transmitter. You know, who knows?
probably.
And what year did this station go on the air here?
1926.
Or they got or it might be 27, but I think they got the license and everything. And you know what? I've got clippings upstairs that'll help me. So everybody can handle some stairs without banisters. This door was made at some point. There wasn't a door here. The door originally came from that closet over there. So this was my dad's secretary was here, and that was his private office there, and here's the door right here that says office. And we just cleaned this up. We left everything as is. One of the guys that did the work had worked on the Ryman Auditorium, and he just said leave everything. So here's pictures of people working on things. And then this is the story. Mother was dating Daddy, and Uncle Lewis was dating his wife. And they only had one overcoat between them, so they couldn't go out on dates at the same time.
A Bendix Facto
So-
heater. 2 Bendix Facto heaters. And my aunt and uncle had one like that in their kitchen for years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so people came up the stairs. I put the stairs back so I could, and they came up the stairs here, and the receptionist was in here, according to Mother. And then this is the studios. I'll open the door so you can see.
Jack, you want everybody to sign in here?
I do.
We sure did.
Sign the book.
So I presume that
Now you can
this
see-
is the studio over here. This is where
Control room.
Announcers booth.
Is this the stairs that came up?
Mm-hmm. Do y'all want a picture of this, or you can get it when you go out?
Skip.
I shot out there.
Jackie told me one time that in good weather, when they were running ball games, they'd raise the windows and people would be lying around in front of the old building over there on the grass listening to the ball games.
Helps if I turn the light
Wow.
on.
Factometer. I like that.
This is the 21st.
Today's 21st.
Yes. And I left. This is the original. And the reason I have this here is because I don't want people walking in because it's kind of tearing up, but I want to keep it.
So that was what was down on the floor at the time.
Am I the only one of this group that ever worked at WSIX?
I never did.
Because I worked there from 79 to 83.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Worked with Bob Bell.
Yes, yes.
We did sports talk there and a whole bunch of stuff out on Murfreesboro Road there.
Yes. You'll see some pictures in there. Murfreesboro Road. So this is
Hey, Jason, what's up?
the door like this.
This room was used for what now?
The announcer was in there.
Oh, okay.
And then if you want to see some of this, like these clippings over here.
Yes, ma'am. I was shooting some of that. a minute
Okay,
ago.
right.
Yeah, here's the story of the 5 barrels of oil from Broadcasting Magazine. That's amazing.
And they did a lot of swapping out stuff.
What's that on the upper left,
The
Skip?
announcers for
It's a sales contract for.
I've got a wrong.
I didn't quite catch what it was, but I love the rate card at the very bottom.
Oh, it's a contract to broadcast the tobacco market quotations for Springfield and Clarksville. Wow. To be put on the air each day from June 1, 1928 to December 31.
Good to meet you.
Provided part of the first part is in a position to operate broadcasting station.
I grew up with a lot of this out in the garage or something.
Cool.
Do you ever see does anybody ever get together that worked at WSIX?
WSIX?
WSIX.
Not so much.
Okay, I just wondered.
Of course, that's all. They split up the TV and the radio, and that's now in the hands of what was Clear Channel. It's now iHeart. But I don't know if there's anybody there now who worked there before Clear Channel had it because I worked with Jerry House
Mm-hmm.
when it was owned by General Electric out on Murfreesboro Road. But after Clear Channel bought it, I bet there's nobody there now who was there before the sale.
No.
I wouldn't think. Jerry's probably the last one.
Okay, Mom said that they kept this door shut while people were performing in here, and then they opened it up, and then they would set chairs out for people to. And now this is where I blew up the picture, so you can kind of put it where you could see.
Yeah,
And if you
that's awesome.
need to pull some of the shades down.
I actually own one of these.
Oh, really?
Mutual Blue.
This was all in Mom's basement
That's beautiful.
stuff. So yeah, and she gave it to Edison, and I had him bring it back up here.
Just some more of those pictures like downstairs. Oh, this is great. You've put a lot of work into this. WSIX broadcasts FM beginning on the 21st. 21st of what?
Doesn't matter.
And at that point it was 97.
Yes. I
Well,
would guess
when it went on the air, it went on as
1967.
97.5. That was before they moved it to 97.9, and those are those old telecorders, aren't they?
Well, and then they stopped it because
Yeah.
Record player, isn't it? That's what Mom used. This is when you used as a teenager, right?
yes, that was in the basement, and
The record player?
yes, the record player. So then that's where we danced and played ping pong and listened to everything. Yes.
A telephone audience survey.
Tell the sun's really coming in here, and
That's amazing.
I remember that.
got the piano up here. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Good
A spin
question.
it, I would hope. I'm just, with this low ceiling, there's not much bouncing.
Well, see, they had
Well,
all
pretty good.
they had curtains
Yeah,
everywhere
sure.
around.
But even with
had
that,
a
there's not a lot of,
piano?
there's not a lot
They
of echo.
On
There it
this
is.
floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There
I
it
want to know
is.
who got it in and out, too.
Well, I don't
So I'm saying
know.
it had to be a
They're
spin.
all dead now.
Little one.
Yeah.
They're still working down the stairway.
There's the WSIX.
What I thought was, is this, SIX originally was only 100 watts? Is that what it was? Is that what that indicates?
Yeah, because that's on 12, this one was on 1210. That's before it moved down the dial.
Okay.
Yeah. Owned by the 638 Tire and Vulcanizing Company. Springfield, home of the world's finest dark. Yeah, so they got radio, they got auto service, and then they get the line in home of the world's finest dark fired tobacco also. So
They used to have signs
we're plugging 3 businesses here.
across the road that said that, wrought iron signs, and then they had to take it down. I don't know what happened to it when they widened the roads. But when I was growing up, that was
Why are those scissors down there?
Ledger of their compensation.
because I
of the
think it
American
says Jack
Broadcasting.
Drawn on it. I
Now,
had
How
that.
long did the
So-
Drawn family own WSIX? Did you own it
My
when-
uncle
when-
sold it in 1966.
So they owned it throughout the move down to Nashville.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, okay. There we go.
Another survey. Survey of all 3 major groups show WSIX's favorite radio station in Nashville.
Including the television station? Did they?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll see that in there.
Okay.
There's that same newspaper clipping from
And I was told that hill out in Brentwood where the TV
Yes.
tower is called Drawn's Hill. Is that
That's
right?
correct.
Okay.
Or it used to be called that.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well,
when
Take a
they,
picture of me and Miss Jackie.
Oh, sure.
And how about Edison?
You're kind of backlit. Let me
Oh,
turn it around
let's
this
go
way.
this way. This will be better.
Oh, now I can see. Now I can see. Much
Very
better.
good.
We
All right,
need a
let's
group
get a couple.
shot too of all of us
Yeah.
together.
well, Carol can do that for us.
Good.
Hey, Skippy,
Yes, sir.
check these out behind the door. This is interesting because it's a double. Really?
Wow.
Far as dirt.
Dirt?
That's
Dirt.
dirt. That is WSIX. To get there, we had to go across the ferry. Now you go across. That's where Opryland is right
out in-
now.
Out in that area. Yeah. The AM site. They moved out there.
That's ferry around McGavick across the Cumberland. Is that the one?
There used to be a ferry.
7-inch reels, a quarter-inch in here.
All right.
You have any idea what's on these?
No, I do not.
We can find out for you. Here's one that says it's touchdown thrills of 1946.
Well, I mean, I haven't tried to, and I don't know
May I
because
touch one?
sure.
We preserve reel-to-reel tapes as a part of our mission.
Yeah. We will be announced before the end of the month as an affiliate of the Library of Congress.
Fantastic.
They have started a program to preserve old radio recordings. And so what we're doing is we're taking these and we're digitizing, making computer files out of old radio things. We would love to work on these. Pat Sutton Talkathon.
And we can return them to you.
Oh, sure, yeah, it doesn't hurt them. As long as they haven't disintegrated by now. They're
See, I don't
probably
know
fine.
whether they have or not.
I don't see any note here about what's on the tape.
Well, that's part of the fun of
Oh, yeah.
putting them on the machine
It's a
and
blank.
trying to decide what's on them. And these films,
And film.
what's on the reels of film there? On those.
Some of them's football, but I don't know
Wow.
everything. Well, what I did was when I had the pictures that I blew up and all in here, I tried to make it like what it was. So originally in here there was some big equipment going through here. They had holes here for the wires to go down, and I purposely made this so you could see where the holes were for the wires to go down. But I took this picture right here to show that.
So this piece of equipment used to stand right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And then you went on over here and you saw this here. So then I had somebody make this for me to make it.
Simulate that.
Yes. And then see, there's that.
Right.
And then you go on up here and there's the hole up there. So it's pretty much as best I could do on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And there was a.
Now originally my dad and my dad's mother died when he was 12 and my uncle was 9. So my grandfather, when they bought this building in, I think it's around 1900, I think. Anyway, then they built the upstairs here. That was what was where we came in. That's the old part. But then they built this upstairs. And they lived up here. And this is where there's one of the rooms has a 4-poster bed in it or something. So they lived in this, and this went on back to the back and all. Then when they started the radio station, they got a house across the street over there. And then they made this into the radio, what we see now. So they blocked up this door right here. This is that. So.
You said they lived here. They lived and breathed radio, literally.
And so, and then here's another picture. And then this right here you can see
This
where
window.
this, yes, and you can see where that thing goes right there, where that hook goes in there to shut that. So kind of tried to make that. Now I don't have, I need a telephone, and I need a turntable, and I need a few things, but anyway.
Great story here about the frequency swap of the television station when they swapped 8 and 2 and changed the call letters to make it WSIX TV in 1973.
I watched that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It was Marcus Welby, wasn't it?
Probably.
That looks like Dan Halliburton with the pad.
And here's one on Jim Kent. Oh my. Now Mr. Jim was still there when I went to work there. He
Oh,
was,
okay.
He was doing middays on WSIX FM playing Metropolitan Country. What a sweet man.
He was really
That's Mo's dad.
into the FM too. Beautiful mellow voice.
And there is, gosh, what's
Ken Bramming.
Ken Bramming.
Yes.
Crockett. Any of y'all remember
Udley Crockett, yeah.
And he's been up here. In fact, he and Buddy Reagan gave me a lot of these pictures.
Oh, Buddy
Over
Reagan.
here, over
I
here.
worked with Buddy.
Well, he's still, I talked to him not
Do
too
you
long ago.
really?
Yes.
Well, please tell him Dave Nichols said hello. Buddy was always very kind to me.
Buddy was a kind man. I got to work with him a while too.
Buddy was running the TV station when I was on radio.
WSIX.
And you know they got the
Good guy.
they got the television station and all, and so they just moved everybody over, and they just all learned right then and there. Right.
Famous news anchors in the early years. He had great
Getting shadows and glares, but have something. Yeah, Jim was quite an actor. He did all kinds of. He was Shakespearean. He was like John Richburg. He had that great pronunciation and delivery. They actually did theater together. Of course, John R. was at WSIC, and Jim was at WSIC.
Now over here is pictures where when they were building. Excuse me.
Well, in fact, that's Buddy right there, isn't it?
Yes, yes it is.
Young Buddy.
Yes,
Way younger than when I knew him.
yes.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Young Buddy Reagan.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, when I knew I was going to go see Pat and all, I picked up some of these
Yeah.
pictures for him to see. And then I took, well, this is one of them, and he said, well, that is a picture of Dad right there. And I didn't even know
Oh,
that.
that's his father.
Yes, and of course his dad was the one that built the studio out on Murfreesboro Road.
Yeah.
Saturday teen
So-
show. And this is Andy Williams, it looks.
Yeah, it is.
You remember Jim
So that's the
Eastman?
studio all out there on
Jim
Murfreesboro.
Eastman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Jim Eastman and Beverly Briley.
Yeah.
Did you look at all these people right here to see?
And that microphone right there was still hanging on a big boom in the studio when I worked there.
How about that?
The one on the right. They had it on a big floor stand. There's Buddy at the switcher. Oh,
I didn't know Buddy until he worked at, he was over at 17, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. That was after.
I didn't meet him until
Yeah,
then.
when I went over there in '79, he was the programming guy for Channel.
He and Hudley still talking real
Do they
close
really?
together. Yes.
Is Hudley still?
Yes, he brought me some of these pictures over here. Now, did you look at this right here to see this? And do you remember? Now, I know they were in the 40s, so I don't even know whether.
Oh, I remember them. Some of them.
Pat Boone is only Ken Brantley, I remember. And
Well,
Gil Green.
Gil Green, I remember.
The others I don't recall.
Wow, very young Ken Bramming.
Yeah. How old is Hudley now? Would he be?
Wow. Hudley was way
in his
older than me.
80s.
He's
I
gotta
guess.
be.
Yeah, he's got to be in his 80s.
Now, Jack Simpson did all the sports.
Okay.
Andy Williams.
Otto Bash had a band, and he also played some, and he worked, because Pat Boone talked about how he and Otto Bash worked together on things and did things together.
I remember.
Here's a bunch of pictures of Hudley.
That's because he brought them, and I may have made copies of some of them that he brought.
Very nice.
Yes.
Who's that?
That is Ryan O'Neal.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, yeah.
he was,
Young Ryan O'Neal.
yes,
Sure.
he was
'Cause
in
he had
Peyton
an
Place.
ABC show. Yeah.
Peyton Place.
Wow.
Let me see.
And then
Ryan
they,
O'Neal right there.
Oh my God.
He was hunky boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
He was pretty man.
and these were the two engineers, Zig Ziglar and Charlie Duke. And
Now,
Charlie went on up.
Charlie
ended up running everything.
He ran everything there for a while.
He
His
did.
name was all over stuff when I went to work over there in '79. But I can't remember if I ever actually saw him
Who
there.
is this again?
That's Gil Green.
Gil
Yeah,
Green.
Gil
and
Green.
Barry Chase.
The
Mary
actress.
Chase.
Barry.
Barrie,
Right.
Chase, yeah.
Barry Chase and Gil Green.
Gil Green, he was an announcer, newscaster. There's Andy Williams. Brian O'Neill.
And then you remember when they had Romper Room
Oh,
up
sure.
there? Okay, that top
There's
up there.
Buddy, Miss Nancy.
Yes.
Is that her?
Are you kidding
there's Miss
me? I
Nancy.
used to watch her.
Way
Oh,
cool.
I gotta get
Let me block the window for you if I can.
She came to Lee Dorman's book signing.
She did. Yes,
Yeah,
she did.
I got a picture of her there.
Wow.
She didn't look like that.
Where
Yeah,
does she live?
Still in Nashville.
Somewhere in Nashville.
She lives in Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, see, they syndicated
Okay,
that.
okay.
There were
show.
lots of Miss Nancy's.
There were a lot of Miss Nancy's.
Most
Right.
of them were after a while.
Yeah.
Because at first,
I remember Miss Eleanor.
Yes.
the original Miss Nancy was in Baltimore, and I grew up with her. But what they did is they could be
Quiz
Miss
show.
whoever,
Yes.
but then they sent
They had
and
that
said, you all have to be Miss
competition.
Miss
Nancy.
Nancy.
Very cool.
Anyway, they could fill up the time with local shows.
See that crack up
And then they
there?
had
And Miss whoever.
Yeah.
See that
I love
crack
this.
right there? I hope that's not.
Oh, yeah, I
I love this
noticed it.
quiz show with BGA and Donaldson.
And Madison and West End. And Hudley
BGA and
Crockett doing
Donaldson.
the news and the weather.
Yeah.
You had to be versatile.
And do y'all remember Noah Ball?
Yeah.
Well, know who he was. I don't
Okay,
really
there's a
actually
picture.
remember him.
That's Shirley Boone and
It
Pat.
sure is, yeah.
And
Shirley, she
Noah.
was a brunette. Wow. She hadn't been a brunette in
I
50 years.
remember,
well, she was when she got married.
I remember Noel, yeah.
Pat's mama lived over across from J.T. Moore's school in the house
I
with
thought it
the
was
blue.
Lipscomb.
No, it was right there on, right across from J.T. Moore.
The Nashville
With
Trust.
the house that has the blue paint on it.
Yeah.
Because Brian Mason is a good friend of their family, and he took me over there to meet Pat's mama
I just
years
thought it was
ago.
right down the street from Lipscomb.
Well, it is. It's right. It is right down the
Oh,
street.
okay.
It's
The
between
radio
J.T. Moore's
studios.
between the university and
Nashville
the school.
Trust was it
But
Nashville
they're right
Bank
there,
and
right
Trust?
across
Yes.
facing
Union or something
Yes,
like
I
that.
mean,
facing
yes.
J.T.
I
Moore.
remember going
And,
as a
lives
teenager to
Yes,
the
she does.
studio
With crazy neon
Uh-huh.
one
stuff.
night.
Yeah.
and
She's a
being-
sweetie.
No,
I've
now
got
this
to
is
be
the
pretty
studio
good
at the
at
television.
A
That's
TV
a,
station.
yeah, it's a TV station, and that was strictly radio on
She will-
National
on
Trust
the-
Building.
right. But I remember going into
Yes.
that studio
Yes.
at night when
I mean,
Noel
we're
was on. He
talking
allowed me to
like
come in and
pink and
watch
orange
him do a
pages.
show. But I was just a kid.
Yeah.
There's not too many
Noel
towns
Ball
in
and Ralph
Illinois.
Emery both allowed
Yeah.
me to visit them at night when they were
Great.
And when I first moved to Nashville, I
Uh-huh.
was just enthralled. And so what a
One of the
treat!
things I found was a VHS trivia
Very cool.
and
This is the ball, and we're rolling. We're
Yeah.
And we're rolling.
a half hour
we're bouncing.
We bounce.
like that other stuff.
That's true.
This is the ball, and we're bouncing.
And so I put it up on our YouTube channel.
Good stuff.
So it's up there.
Well, y'all have done a lot
Tennessee
of work
Radio
here.
Hall
This is
of Fame.
very
It's a
impressive.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
Is the transmitter still around, or this piece of equipment, or?
I don't have any of. I no.
Okay.
I don't know
Probably
where
took all that to
anything it is.
Nashville.
I don't know what I don't know, and I just recreated that right there. I tell you what really got me on the ball was when Channel 2 had their 50th,
Oh yeah.
and so they wanted to come up here and they interviewed some people who were on the radio back when it originally was, and all. So yes,
Yeah, and I've got
so
plenty more waiting to be digitized. So
There's a lot of stuff now.
Yeah, the radio. I don't know of any other radio
Back in my
stations.
house, but my wife told me that we don't have any more room, so I can't bring any more home. But
well,
I love the old radios.
what we've got, you know,
That's
put it
fantastic.
in its place.
Believe it or not, they used to talk into this.
No,
No, that's the
It's a
speaker.
speaker.
That's speaker.
Speaker.
The
It's the
outdoor
same
camera,
thing.
yeah.
You can do it either
Where did
way.
you see the?
Gee whiz.
You notice
This is the carbon granule microphone.
Yeah, there it is.
And once voltage went through for a few hours and the granules would clump together, so you had to pick it up and shake the hell out of it so that it would work again. And they
Did you
kept,
have to do that?
No, and they kept them in ovens at night and humidity controlled things. So,
Very cool.
but I've read many old radio books where they talk about it. Someone, they'll be in the middle of a radio play and somebody's mic goes dead and they have to cut away while the guy just shakes the hell out of the mic. Then they cut back. So,
And that was cutting edge.
What are these binders down here?
you know that's just
Ledgers.
I don't pull one out and look
It
at it.
says NAB reports 1946.
I just didn't want to throw them away.
Well, NAB report volume 7, no, 12, 1944. Maybe it's just
One day we will have a museum like this.
publications from the NAB, I suppose.
Does the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame have a
No,
We don't have a place yet. We're only
virtual?
3.5 years old, so everything we have right now is on the website.
or at my house.
Yeah, or I think so.
Or in my garage.
Or his garage.
But we're working on it.
Or in our storage unit, which we
Our
have.
closets
So
and
there's
garages.
some old radios and memorabilia.
Some.
and-
Oh. tons
We
of-
have some old radio equipment, and we have when WAMB when Mr. Barry passed away, his daughter decided to clean out the studio on Lebanon Road, and she gave about 8,000 albums to Vanderbilt, to their library, and then she took a lot of the working equipment back to her station. She owns a couple of stations in Lebanon, and gave some stuff to WMOT in Murfreesboro, the MTSU station. And then she said, "Y'all come and help me clean this place out," because she was going to lease the transmitter to some Spanish language
Went
broadcasters.
there and just took.
And so we took all this stuff that she didn't have a place for.
You
and
don't
now-
happen to have anything that I'm missing in these
Beautiful
pictures, do
music.
you?
Well, you know, not anything that old. We
Oh.
got some reel-to-reel tape machines
I have
and
a
an
plastic
old
tub
board
with
that
everything
mice
was
were
in
living
Bill Barry's
in.
desk. All these
And,
tapes and things,
we've-
and I've still got to listen to them.
And a lot of old tapes.
You know,
And so
lots
we've
of
been
WMD
archiving the
pocket
tapes, and
calculators,
we
you know,
put
and,
the
you know,
recordings after we've
awards
transferred them to the computer.
old tape.
We have been posting them online on YouTube, so people can go back and hear these historic recordings.
We're keeping,
And so we've been doing a lot of preservation of audio.
That's wonderful.
So that's why we
We
were-
would love to make copies of those tapes.
So
for
when
that
we get
purpose.
something now, we make
yeah,
a
because
copy,
who knows
put it
what's
on
on
the
that
file,
that's
we put it on
historic
YouTube,
that-
we store it on a hard
You know,
drive.
those tapes don't last forever. They start to
And then
deteriorate, and
we pack up the original stuff too and keep that too. So
Because those, if somebody would put those in a film machine, they'd probably crackle, right?
well, it depends on what type of film they are, and they're probably not that old. The old the stuff that was flammable. What was it made of?
Nitrate.
Nitrate cellulose.
Nitrate film. Those are probably more recent. Those are 16 millimeter.
If those were
Okay,
black and
film.
white, they probably would last longer because the black and white stocks tend to.
They're all
survive
black and
better.
white, I'm
Well, the
sure.
color stocks, for many years, stuff that they were shooting color on began to deteriorate very quickly. And a lot of that stuff, physically, it'll be okay, but the color shifts. So everything starts to look reddish or yellowish or some of those things. And then you get into later color film stocks, and they're likely to just turn to dust. So the color is that's why they've tried so hard to preserve a
So
lot of the
black
stuff
and
from
white's
Hollywood.
better.
The black and white lasts longer. They've lost original footage for a lot of color movies out of Hollywood just because they didn't realize they had to preserve them like that. But the black and white stocks tended to last longer. And the audio tape, the older tape lasts longer than some of the newer tapes. They went through some tape stocks in the 60s, particularly the 70s, are really bad that you wind
There goes
up.
my air checks then.
Well,
Yeah.
it's not all of it, but
Not
some of the
cassettes
tape stock,
and,
you actually have to
Talking
bake
40
it
years
in
ago.
you can bake it in an oven and stabilize it
I've
long
got
enough to
little
play it
reels.
back. You heat the tape, and the stuff bonds on there, and then you run it through. You can usually get 2 or 3 passes through a recorder.
no, you can
to
do it
play
unlimited. I do it.
Really?
Yeah.
I
'Cause
just
they-
let mine stay in the
What
attic
happened was,
forever.
like the microphone,
Yeah.
the binder,
It's separated.
it binds with water in the air, and then when you played it, it just scraped the oxide off of the thing. But if you bake it, it
Dry it
dries
out.
the water out. You can play it for about a month.
Yeah.
But then if you want to, you can bake it again
Yeah.
and play it more. So I bought a food dehumidifier,
Yeah.
one of those food dryers, and it stacks up like 7 reels of 1/4-inch tape. And I just run it for like 3-4 hours, and it works fine.
That is amazing.
I did it the other weekend with some old WRVU stuff.
There are a lot of tape stocks through the years. Remember when we put LACFM on the air, they said, "Oh, we got this new stuff. It's called hot tape." And the hot tape was great, except the oxide wouldn't stay on there. And we wound up, we had to redub the entire music library for that radio station 3 times in the first 6 weeks. Because what would happen is the oxide, the lubricant wouldn't stay on, and the lubricant and the oxide would come off on the heads. You literally had to clean the heads after every song.
I remember doing that.
But all the stuff that came off there, that was the lubricant, and the way the tape cartridges worked, eventually without the lubricant it would grab and it would kill the cart. And so we literally redubbed that entire library. Chris Romer, bless his heart, we redubbed that library 3 whole times in the first 6 weeks in order to have music to play. It was unreal before they figured out what the problem was and got it fixed. It was a fish oil problem. They had been making the lubricant, I think the story was they'd been making it with some sort of fish oil. And they couldn't get the fish oil, so they went to a petroleum-based lubricant, and it did not bind to the tape.
That's what the MPEX was, because the EPA, one of the first things they did was the binder they used in the recording tape had ambergris. You know, the whale blow. And they just said you can't use that anymore. So they went to a different binder, which worked at first.
Worked that well.
But then not that well.
And so we wound up having we were shipping tape cards back and getting them rewound and endlessly, because Woody thought he could save $5 instead of just buying new ones. You know. EPA. Woody was amazing.
Well, what else do we have to look at, Miss Jackie?
That's it.
Well,
this is pretty way cool, I'll tell you. This is just.
Thank you so much.
This is so.
Now we need pictures of all of us out in the front.
Yes, we do.
Or up here. Do you want to? Would you rather have it?
Somebody could take our picture.
I'll get Carol to come up here.
Over here.
Let me see if Carol can come.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, because I've got something nobody else can get.
You have first class?
No, it's just advanced.
Third with a 9?
Well, no, it's just amateur.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I still got my third phone.
Nobody cares.
I don't know where mine is.
You can't keep it up. They don't.
Well, I can't keep it up, but I still got my last one.
One of my
I left mine
my
probably
friends in New Jersey
They don't do that anymore.
ended up staying in ham radio.
I just remember Brandon.
Why
The
are we
night
so
before,
And
going
I call
in.
him Jesse Hill out there, follow him around like little.
We drove to
dog.
Memphis.
TJ.
That was the closest office where they gave the test.
Just skill.
Here she comes.
The story and all.
Yeah.
But and he dated a Miss Colin Gardner,
1210.
and she
What
they
year is it?
were together every weekend. I mean, you know, go
They
go
were a
out
couple.
and eat and things like that. And they never married. And the story was they wouldn't because that was a gardener. And the two, and they would not marry.
Oh,
Bush
wow.
had said those two should never marry.
Wouldn't happen.
Oh, wow.
Bummer.
Well, listen,
I put the damper on your love life.
you don't joke around about
No.
78 and 33
No.
turntables.
Yeah, I learned
Yes,
years ago
I
not to
did.
brag about my technology.
Yeah, Pat's big deal.
Because it never
He was one of the
lasts.
few people out of Nashville
Always
who wasn't really hooked into WSM. He was WSIX. That's where his show was. That's where it was.
Very timely.
And most all the other folks went through WSM or WSM.
What are these?
But Pat,
He said NAB.
we lose track of how big a star was. That was
That would be technical.
back in the years.
He was so nice and so humble when we were over there. We went to Ernie's
Record shop, yeah, he was in town to do